Meanwhile, back with the senior, he seems to have finished dealing with his adversary as well, though he looks severely injured, with blood dripping from his shoulder. Sadly, the senior finds himself surrounded by a bunch of goons. The bastard from before gets back on his feet, puts his hat back on, and retrieves his gun from the ground. A bulky guy swings a punch at the senior, but the senior quickly deflects it and lands a punch of his own. Suddenly, the bastard aims his gun at the senior and admits that he underestimated the head of security for the SW Association. He acknowledges that they wouldn't have been able to kidnap her if they hadn't waited until the end of his shift. On the other hand, it looks like the senior is on the brink of giving up. He fought here solely to buy Jie and Jin time to escape, but he can't be sure if they got away since that woman went after Jin. For some reason though, the senior has a gut feeling that Jin will handle it, and he feels surprisingly confident about that. He's so confident that even the dude standing over there can't help but notice the smile spreading across the senior's face. He finally asks the reason behind the senior's smile, but the bodyguard doesn't say a word, just keeps that smile on his face. The cap guy warns that if the senior thinks Jin is safe just because a woman went after him, then he is underestimating that woman gravely. He claims that no man here can defeat that woman, and now that she's angry, Jin will soon be begging for her to put him out of his misery. The senior's smile finally fades, and he grits his teeth out of frustration. The kidnappers also states that he did not send any men after Jin because she'll be done with him before they even get there. The cap guy then starts to squeeze the trigger of his gun, telling the senior to focus on saving himself because he's about to die. Suddenly, a bullet drills a hole into the cap guy's hand, and blood splatters everywhere. He staggers backward and his gun falls to the ground. The senior quickly turns into the direction to see where the shot came from, and is shocked to find Jin standing there, gun in hand. The cap guy is sweating profusely, his blood pouring out, and he's furious, trying to figure out what the hell Jin is doing here. He's also panicked, wondering what might have happened to his friend Priscilla, who went after Jin earlier. I guess he was just way too confident about her. On the other hand, Jin shoots another bullet and puts it into the cap guy's thigh, then turns and aims the gun at the senior. For a moment, the senior's heart skips a beat, but before he can react, Jin starts firing. But to the senior's surprise, the bullets whiz past him, taking out the lackeys surrounding him from all directions. Once Jin's gun runs dry, the senior looks around, only to find every man down on the ground, groaning in pain. What fascinates the senior the most is that Jin didn't even hesitate while drilling holes into those bastards, and he disarmed them with just a bullet for each man. In the background, Jie stands with her ears covered, and once the shooting stops, she looks up. Meanwhile, the senior bodyguard's mind flashes back to what the leader of Team 3 said, which is Jin is definitely a professional. Right on cue, reinforcements arrive and cover the entire area. The police quickly start their work, handcuffing all the goons. Meanwhile, a few soldiers walk over to Jie, asking if she is all right. In response, the lady quickly assures them that she's absolutely fine. She then notices our boy talking to the officers. Once Jin confirms he's with the security team leader, the soldiers quickly start tending to his injuries. Jie walks over to him, asking if he's all right. He replies that he is fine, but Jie questions how he can call himself fine in his condition. Our boy simply says that he has no problem with mobility so far, so he's mostly okay. He further adds that a few bruises for saving a VIP from kidnapping is a favorable outcome. Then Jin says he has a favor to ask. Jie looks startled and quickly asks what it is. Jin reveals that he doesn't want to worry his family until his injuries are treated, so he needs to tell them that he'll be attending a security team workshop. Jie is a bit confused, wondering if this is all he wanted to talk about. She then simply walks away, telling him to go get those wounds treated. But before leaving, she doesn't forget to thank Jin for his help. Shortly after, the senior also arrives and places a hand on Jin's shoulder. He flashes a warm smile and tells Jin that they'll see each other next time. With that, Jie and her bodyguard walk off. The scene then cuts to an unknown location, where a mysterious man sits behind a desk in a dimly lit office. An unknown lackey stands behind him, delivering the sad news that their attempt to kidnap Jie has failed. The boss smiles to hear this, and explains that success in kidnapping her was never the real objective, because it was merely a way to deliver a message to SW Corporation. He elaborates that they will start to watch their steps more carefully once they realize the trouble their expansion can cause, and that's all he's after.